has bombs that have been calculated to be in
This
those
also
large
kind of like
building level
happens
ranges,
in No Way Home too.
and we see in Spider-Man 3 his
since the
leftover tech
relative-
is shown to be capable of
Bro, I know all our dumbasses just do not register a single piece of information when he shows those numbers and the math, bro. I am not. I'll just listen to him talk. This movie better be the best representation of a real-life spirit bomb. Because I know every single one of us will give our entire energy to the GOAT that is Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man so he can solo all the X-Men, bro. The X-Men movies are washed anyway.
Whoa, now. You got too much dip on your chip.
And let's go ahead and hear someone who actually power scales and understands the math. Spoken by Koji Chronic. And why Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man can actually solo all those thoughts.
Tobey Maguire is back in the public limelight due to people discussing his rumored role in Avengers Doomsday. With the leading rumor being that Tobey has to come face to face with the Fox X-Men in order to save his universe.
Crazy.
And I've seen a lot of edits
One
and
be like
videos
20.
talking about this potential fight, and people are hyping up Tobey because firstly he's the GOAT, and second of all I think it's going to be a grand last stand. As for my feelings on the subject and just discourse, who said anything about a last stand? This is the GOAT after all. I think he's got a decent chance of clutching this one up.
Also, he is definitely gonna be in Secret Wars. Like, it's pretty obvious, so he's not dying.
The Patriots did 27-3. We can do this.
Facts.
If you don't believe me, let me prove it.
Granted, that was 1v6, and now it's like gonna be 1v10, and these guys are way more broken than the Sinister Six, but hey, he's got it, bro.
Today, I'm going to be talking about
his track record when he gets jumped
not
that
all
great?
you Tobey fans
True,
just preparing the funeral arrangements, let me cook for a second. Before that, be sure to subscribe to the channel if this topic interests you. We do things like this all the time here on the channel. Whether that's short form content, long form content, I do this all the time. So be sure to subscribe. It's free after all. Tobey Maguire has been in 4 cinematic Spider-Man films, which included an entire trilogy before the MCU was even a thing. So you can imagine he has a plethora of scaling that he would get before his return in No Way Home. So I guess in the baseline, we'll talk about what the original trilogy brought to the table. Strong. And as for part 2, we'll talk about how No Way Home pretty much changed everything. So let's just get started. As a baseline, Spider-Man will be around wall to small building level or just building level. Seeing as how his infamous train halt has been recorded to be around wall level in terms of what would be required to replicate what he did. I want to know that the train feat shouldn't be really used to gauge Tobey's full capabilities because during this scene his powers were wavering. The whole movie's mostly conflicted. So yeah, you shouldn't use this to scale where Tobey would at peak. Especially seeing as how as early as the events of the previous movie, Spider-Man was able to survive a pumpkin bomb, with these pumpkin bombs being shown to be capable of just being so potent that they vaporize a group of half a dozen people, which would put.
I don't think those were the same bombs. Those are different bombs.
Yield in those building level ranges. Tobey takes that right to the face, and he's able to just survive it. So yeah, he doesn't cap out at wall level. For some more stuff now, during Spider-Man 1, since we're already talking about it, Green Goblin pretty much calls Peter Parker impossible to beat in a 1v1 encounter after just 2 meetings with him. This is telling us Green Goblin has bombs that have been calculated to be in those large building level ranges,
in No Way Home too.
And we see in Spider-Man 3 his leftover tech is shown to be capable of.
Bro, I know all our dumbasses just do not register a single piece of information when he shows those numbers and the math, bro. I am not. I'll just listen to him talk. Not watching the math.
A giant Sandman's arm, which also gets the power of his weaponry in those large building level ranges. For some more consistency, by the end of Spider-Man 3, Spider-Man is able to survive multiple bloodless.
I would love to say my goat wins, but he does not have a good track record when he gets jumped. He was getting cooked in this match.
Blows from Sandman and his giant kaiju state. This is notable as Sandman just prior is able to generate earthquakes that are felt throughout the entire New York City subway. This subway is one of the biggest and busiest train systems in the world, with it having well over 20 stops under its belt, and it covering over 600 total miles in terms of tracks. So to shake this amount of space to the point where it's noticeable around would require an insane amount of energy. And due to this calculation by Lucy Agenda on Reddit, this person was able to calculate that.
Yeah, I know for a fact he didn't do all that calculations himself.
Sandman would have needed to generate energy equivalent to as low as 4.7 tons as TNT to even as high as over 150 tons of TNT. So that's anywhere between large building to multi-city block. So as a mid-ball, let's just say that Sandman's around city block. We know that Spider-Man should scale to a casual Sandman showings due to his scaling to him while he's a giant kaiju, as well as him upscaling tech that is able to critically injure him. Adding on to my point now, Spider-Man also has some more city block level scaling, as during Spider-Man 2, he's able to stop the gravitational pull of a small star, with it pulling objects all towards New York. Spider-Man is able to stop a big wall in its tracks that's right by the star's gravitational pull, with this instance being calculated to be around city block level plus. So remember when I said don't cap Spider-Man at that wall level train?
Yeah, but doesn't that mean MJ is also star level? That doesn't make really sense, does it?
He has way better stuff when he's in a way better mental state later in the film. There are some higher ends for the Raimi verse in general, but I think this is where he kind of caps consistently. So let's just move on to speed. All throughout the original trilogy, Tobey is shown to be a bullet timer, but in terms of gauging where his speed would be, we get the best look at it during the events of Spider-Man.
What's his best speed feat? He hasn't fought Electro. Like if actually he didn't in No Way Home and he kinda got cooked. I always see Spidey or Tobey Spider-Man as the slowest. I don't really see him being the fastest. To me, Andrew has the fastest reaction speed. Tom has the best spider sense. But Andrew is the quickest.
His whole perception in which everyone in the school is just moving in a slow motion snail-like pace, with it being calculated that Spider-Man would have perceptions at worst in those supersonic plus ranges. But keep in mind, once again, this is a Tobey Maguire who just got powers, still getting used to it. So obviously he got faster over time. This is just a baseline, a gauge, if you will. Also, I'm aware that the Spider-Man's Raimi-verse saga has games and supplementary material in which Spider-Man
we are not counting that as canon. For the moment of God,
do not count the others as canon, bro. And stuff. But I don't really want to use all that stuff, and I won't need to, considering how much No Way Home changed everything. So let's just get into that.
That's the biggest upscales. Come on.
No Way Home. His short time in the MCU was enough for him to get a crazy upscale.
So
and that's
sad.
because the past rogues of his film are pretty much the main focus of No Way Home, with Doc Ock and Green Goblin being the most prevalent villains in the entire, just movie. This is important because if you remember, Green Goblin stated that a rookie Tobey with only a couple weeks of experience was pretty much impossible to beat in a 1v1 fight. So he had to resort to mentally draining Spider-Man and putting him in crazy predicaments to hopefully get him. So that's insane considering that this Green Goblin saw Tom Holland Spider-Man and was just laughing at his punches and easily overpowered him. On top of that, Spider-Man during this instance had his integrated suit, which is pretty much the culmination of all of his previous suits, and is stated to just combine the best act of all of his prior stuff, which would include the Iron Spider, which bumps up his stats, being durability and yes, AP. But before we dive into the ramifications of that, I want to talk about a base Tom, because what we already talked about means that Tobey Loki upscales Tom in general. So let's just talk about where Tom...
Whoa. Okay, see, now you are hating Michael. Tom is stronger than all three. Let's keep it, especially after Brand New Day, bro. He is way stronger. And this scene right here, the scene of him holding the ship, it's a better feat than what Tobey did with the train scene. Is it more saucy? Fuck no, it looks stupid. But mathematically speaking, a better feat.
Combo scale and base. This is a character who's able to pretty much halt blows from Cull Obsidian, a character who's bullying a Mark 50 Iron Man. Now, I know a lot of people like to scale Tom above Cull Obsidian. I think that's a little bit crazy, but I think that Tom being able to stop blows that are capable of sending the Mark 50 crazy far back, I think that would mean that Tom would be around town level, upscaling just phase 1 Iron Man feats. Especially due to how much we know Tobey improves on each suit. So yeah, Tobey's already up there. He's already town level now because of that upscaling. But let's talk about the Iron Spider scaling chain.
I'm not mad.
Tobey upscales that as well. We already know.
As long as I'll be on though Tom is the strongest one, I'm not mad at
stats, but according to Word of God, it's actually in the same ballpark of power as the Mark 50.
Hey, so one of your replies you mentioned War Machine rival in Mark 50, but not necessarily Iron Spider. Does this mean that since it was their only utilization, it's immensely weaker and less durable? Or is it in the same ballpark but has different form of versatility? The Iron Spider is what I'm asking you about. Same ballpark, different abilities. That's such a nothing burger of an answer. Okay, so I imagine they're not that different.
With this suit being durable durable enough to survive a portion of a moon just being thrown at it, with it being determined that Iron Man withstood
Crazy
energy
scene, bro. That was
equivalent to what would be
golden.
required to destroy an entire island just by surviving this impact. There's also the fact that Tony's suit is able to draw blood from Thanos, and yeah, no, that don't sound too impressive on paper, but considering this is a guy who can destroy the Tesseract without even flinching, drawing blood from him goes a long way, especially considering that crushing the Tesseract has been calculated to be a large country level feat.
What? Fuck you, man. How did we calculate a cube getting destroyed?
Iron Man can draw blood from Thanos.
Also, how strong was the ship that they were inside of?
And the Iron Spider suit is shown to at least affect Thanos when he's being punched by Spider-Man.
Yeah,
like, he gets sent
making him
back
flinch.
a bit. But once again,
Stealing
all
the
this is just
punches.
a Tobey upscale. Because during No Way
Gambit,
Home,
like when he was
Dr.
fighting
Octopus
Captain America,
was able
Captain
to
America
rip
didn't do
apart
anything.
chunks off of the Iron Spider. Considering how we already have Iron level durability for a suit in the same ballpark as the Iron Spider, and that potential country level stuff, and you got Doc Ock ripping chunks out of the suit itself, yeah, that's a Tobey upscale, I'm not gonna lie. We even have some more blatant comparisons.
Okay, I do not want to hate on Tobey by any means, but Tobey was getting whooped by Goblin too. It's not like, yes, he did say it's a statement. We're kind of narrative stating here, but sorry, I'm just being the power scaling son at the moment. I'm gonna shut up. Digress. We move on.
That
we
Tom
move.
in the Iron Spider suit just can't overpower Doc Ock in his arms, whereas Tobey, while mentally nerfed, can just bust out of the same grip. So unironically,
Because what? He had stuff to use. I don't get this stuff, blah blah blah. He had other material to use. Tom was under the bridge. He had nothing to use.
Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man is at bare minimum an Iron Man level character in the MCU. Tobey
That's
also
fair,
gets
of
new
course.
speed stuff just due to scaling to Tom Holland's Spider-Man, a character who can tag Thanos, who in himself can react to light-based attacks multiple times throughout Infinity War and Endgame. So yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
Are those light speed? I don't think Tony's lasers are light speed.
Tobey got a crazy bump in stats due to No Way Home. So in the original trilogy, he capped out at around city block, but due to his MCU scaling, at worst, he'd be around town level, and at best, he'd be around large country level, just due to his scaling to the Iron Spider and other subsequent suits that are said to be in the same ballpark. So with that being said, let's head on to the competition.
Okay, so that's where we scale him. I would personally put him as a special grade due to sorcerer, but that's just me.
Speaking of the competition, look at this. Do you notice someone? Yeah, this cast is pretty weak. I'm not gonna lie. That's why I've been saying this whole time. Don't sleep on Tobey, because off-rip, this team is missing two of its most powerful members. Where is Storm? Where's Jean Grey? And don't worry, according to the actresses, these are not people that are in the film. This is already great for Tobey as
not woman in a movie feeling good.
Jean Grey is ironically a planetary character, with her flares alone stated to shine brighter than any known star.
I was never
On top of that, we've seen the Phoenix Force, in which she harnesses destroy entire planets, and in the X-Men Last Stand novelization, it states she's going to break the planet down to a molecular or subatomic level. So the fact that this is a character that Tobey doesn't have to worry about means that we good. Off rip. Another one we talked about not being here is Storm, a character who can generate Category 6 hurricanes, with these hurricanes being generated at lightning speeds.
Am I crazy, bro? This is how delusional I am. I feel like Peter could 1v1 Storm just because he can react to electricity, bro. One of his biggest enemies is Electro. Tobey could clutch him even against Storm in a 1v1.
1,000 feet high, which should already get her
like
stuff
she
in
does
the
have crazy
multi-continental
durability.
ranges. So if she was able to hit Spider-Man with a Thunderbolt, that would probably just fry.
Yeah, but she couldn't.
But seeing as how she's not in this movie, Tobey, you're good. ×2. And this isn't the end of Spider-Man's look, as one of the most powerful members, Charles Xavier, has a lot of good evidence, even in the first trailer, that would suggest that he's not partaking in this fight. With the first trailer of Doomsday showing him just flinch at a planet dying, with this planet being speculated to possibly maybe be
hard to
Tobey's.
scale
So the
this.
fact that he's not on the battlefield means that Spider-Man, you're kind of lucky. I'm not gonna lie. So with three powerhouses left,
it's almost like they know Spider-Man is the more popular hero and they want him to win.
like not even contributing to this fight, let's turn our attention to the X-Men that are actually here out on the battlefield. I think it's most appropriate to talk about Scott Summers, the de facto leader of the X-Men, and where he would scale. Obviously, he gets his best stuff from his optic blast, which is capable of cleaving through entire mountains to a multi-city block level yield. And that's pretty much all the scaling he gets. So off rip, he's a Tobey victim, but there is a possible upscale for him, because we do have some rumored fights that are taking place in Doomsday, and Scott might.
Mr. Fantastic versus Nightcrawler. I feel like Mr. Fantastic's got it. Shang-Chi versus Gambit. I'm good to Shang-Chi, Yelena versus Mystique. I think Mystique can get that Captain Marvel versus Captain America versus Cyclops, Captain Marvel versus Monica. I don't even know who that is. Captain Marvel, Sentry versus Professor X, obviously Sentry, Mr. Fantastic, Cyclops, and Captain America versus Doctor Doom. That lineup sucks, bro.
Upscale as he's scheduled to fight Captain America, with Captain America in this particular moment of time being pretty much covered by vibranium, where that's his suit, all his various tech. So if Cyclops is able to melt or just do anything to Cap's suit, then that's a possible upscale for the optic blast, and it would fry Tobey. But seeing as how this wing con kind of just would only scale to his lasers, and it relies on how he would do in a hypothetical fight.
I think Cyclops is gonna be a demon in this movie, bro. He's gonna be one of the protagonists.
And you can see why I'm a little hesitant.
It's gonna be tough for Tobey, man.
Beat Tobey, even with the hypothetical upscale, because I mean, Tobey can dodge the laser, and Spider-Man is way stronger than Scott's base durability. From here, I guess I'm gonna be talking about Gambit now, a character who pretty much has nothing due to the fact that he was retconned into this universe due to the events of Wolverine and Deadpool. And I like that movie, and Gambit's pretty cool in it, but he doesn't do anything except for beat up minions and blow up things. Like, I don't know, like small building level.
And also having one of the most iconic quotes in Marvel
history. Building level. And due to him having no history in Fox, he doesn't have any feats for us to pull from, really. But
it depends on who he fought.
There is one possible upscale he's fiending on at the moment, and that's basically his fight with Shang-Chi, which is a rumored thing that's seemingly confirmed via the first trailer. And I've seen some people say that this would make Gambit Shang-Chi level, and I mean, I don't know. Shang-Chi's not even really trying super crazy, and if anything...
But it's a trailer. We can't...
He's just using the ring.
Well, I mean, you're not gonna do Shang-Chi as holds back, man, bro.
Block all of Gambit's stuff. So, I mean, does this really show relativity, or does this prove the notion that Shang-Chi is way above him if he's just using his wrist to block all of Shang-Chi's attacks? So,
I don't think Gambit is using all the tricks either.
This guy too. I'm not even gonna waste my time talking about the jobbers being Mystique, Nightcrawler,
obviously,
and just
no diff. Whoa, Nightcrawler and a jobber in the same sentence is crazy. That man is in the main stat line. He's definitely one of the heavy hitters. He is not a
These
jobber.
Are all like just barely superhuman characters.
I guess.
With Beast in the alternate timeline to Days of Future Past actually getting killed by a group of people. Like 20 regular people pull Beast out of the house.
Civilians should never be able to kill a superhero. Period. In any story, it's the dumbest thing you could ever
that's just not happening.
It's so lazy.
From here, we're going to switch the focus to some more rumored X-Men that are in this film. And two names that I'm hearing being thrown around all the time are Wolverine and Deadpool. With these two really only being the most consistently named characters to participate in this hypothetical opening to Avengers Doomsday.
I think they will be in it.
Wolverine and what he brings to the table in terms of his base stats. He would be in those multi-C block level ranges, as he can swap hands and endure beatings from Sabretooth, who can survive Scott's optic beams. And Wolverine himself has an instance in which he's able to physically divert Deadpool's lasers, which have been calculated to yield such results. And that's where he would physically cap in terms of stats. So like his blows and what he can physically endure would be around those multi-city block level stuff. But as for his claws, these have always been a
I don't think Peter can do anything to really permanently keep Wolverine down. Unless we're gonna again chain scale, because Tom could hold Hulk with his webs for a while. Maybe Tobey can hold Wolverine with his webs.
For him, as they allow him to pierce and fight people way above his pay grade. And I mean, can you honestly be surprised? This stuff is made out of adamantium. Fun fact for you guys, adamantium in the MCU is actually the same metal substance that Celestials are made out of. Celestials really just tank planetary explosions just by being born. So Wolverine's claws being made out of metal that can survive planets just blowing up point blank on top of it is pretty nuts. It's also kind of an upscale for Deadpool, because even though his physicals are worse than Wolverine's, he does have swords made out of the same metal. So if either of these guys got a good hit on Tobey, it might actually kill him. But I still lean towards Tobey for a couple of reasons. That being the fact that Deadpool Wolverine's base AP and durability are kind of poopy compared to Tobey's. Like, yeah, they got weapons that can kill him, but are they realistically getting that good hit in? I don't think so. Because even though these characters are all relative in terms of speed, because X-Men...
But bro, I'm tackling Wolverine as very relative to Spidey. And Deadpool is the same level as Wolverine. Both at the same time and also you have Cyclops. That's the thing, all of these 1v1. I can see Peter winning in a high diff win. But he's getting jumped, bro. If it's a gauntlet style, then he's got a chance. But if it's all at the same time, Sinister Six,
Tobey still has an advantage, that being his spider sense. So even though they're relative in speed, Spider-Man has sort of a pseudo precognition that he uses in combat. So I think that Tobey just sends these guys
bullets
flying
ain't doing
with any of
nine to
his
him,
base punches.
so
Because while
those guns are
Wolverine's
useless.
bones are made out of adamantium, his skin isn't, his organs isn't, and we've seen him get thrown around by weaker characters. So yeah, I feel like that's what's most likely going to happen in this situation. So unironically, of the confirmed / rumored lineup of the X-Men, Tobey would beat these guys fairly easily. He
That is a crazy choice.
kind of just knocks most of them
Maintain
out.
the fuck
and
out of
the
this
ones
ammo, bro.
that could give him problems, he just would never be able to tackle them. But wait, I haven't talked about
There he
one
is.
guy.
There's this demon. I have no clue how he beats Magneto. I have no idea how Peter would even begin to be Magneto, bro. It's not close.
Seems to be Magneto, a character who in the Fox continuity
just
is able to move the magnetic elements of the planet Earth itself, which consistently gets calculated to be in those large country to multi-continental ranges. And I'll be honest with you guys, this one right here, he might be a problem for Tobey. And according
Might fuck you in my
to Ian, the actor of Magneto, in this film, he actually pulls a Chief Keef and destroys New Jersey. And considering this possible Tobey versus X-Men fight is taking place on Peter's New York, which is right by
Of course it's New Jersey, bro.
we might now know
Of course it's
Magneto
Jersey. It's always that fuck-ass place.
destroying New Jersey in Avengers Doomsday. It's
Fuck
not
Jersey.
his New Jersey. And that's the thing with Magneto. He's way stronger than Peter Parker, and he doesn't really have the morals as the other X-Men. I can see some of the X-Men kind of being hesitant about their whole situation of pulling up to these planets in order to destroy them to save their own. But Magneto's always been a guy where it's like, my people first.
I'm just gonna wake up in a cold sweat thinking
what
about
I
this
have
guy.
to do to do it. So on top of him being way stronger than Peter Parker, he's not caring about the collateral of the whole situation. I can see him just overwhelming Peter due to pulling all the city blocks and endangering dozens of people, if not hundreds of people, if not thousands. And at that point, Peter's fighting two battles. He's got to worry about saving the civilians while just maneuvering.
Nah, but that's cool because like someone like Nightcrawler would not let the bystanders
and
die.
having to box with essentially an entire city because of Magneto's control of metal. Combine that with some of the other jobbers that are rumored to be walking around, and that might be enough to do Peter in. So unfortunately, even though I am the biggest Tobey fan that I know, I couldn't cheese away from him to win this fight realistically, honestly. But hey, I take some solace knowing in the fact that if he is destined to lose, he's going to go out swinging. And if anything...
Yeah, I know. This better be a future Gohan levels of glazing, bro. If he's gonna go out, he better go out swinging,
took the
bro,
one
like
non-X-Men to actually beat him. But Tobey, Spider-Man, if you're listening to this, you're welcome to surprise me. Either way, you'll be back for Secret Wars, and we will all be there to see
he's
you
definitely
return
gonna
your
be back for
glorious
Secret Wars.
glory.
God, look at Storm. He's so bad.
As you guys can tell, I'm a bit of a Tobey Glazer. But yeah, with that being said,
it was very obvious the video.
Situation.
That video made me more worried than it made me excited for the movie, but I don't think Tobey can win that fight. Maybe Doc Ock can come and help, but the fuck is Doc Ock gotta do against Magneto? Like, that's the worst matchup ever. Tell me if you believe in the comments in our GOAT. Until next time, lighten out.